Hi everyone, welcome to Information Security Conference 2020. My name is Elias Samarani. I'm a senior security consultant. Also, I have my colleague Haifa Ketiti who will be talking today during the session about people-centric approach to managing the risk of insider threats and business email compromise. So first, let us discuss the agenda for today, what we'll be covering. So first, we'll do an intro about Proofpoint people-centric approach. We'll discuss the Proofpoint email security ecosystem, the 2020 threat landscape, next generation email security. We'll talk about Proofpoint target attack protection and threat response auto pull. Then we'll go to a live demo to show you in action our platform target attack protection. After that, we'll be discussing customer challenge about the insider threats, and then also we'll do a demo to show you how our insider threats platform will give the organization visibility about their users' activities.
Thank you, Elias. So as you can see in this slide, on the left side of the slide, most defenders or us people in IT view the word like this. So we view the word with a network-centric approach. If we want to secure an organization, we'll want to put a firewall in front of a server or a database or a device or micro-segmented on a VLAN. But that does not translate to the attacker's point of view today. And the other problem with this legacy approach is that it does not provide visibility to all types of threats that affect your people. And if you look at the world today, attackers are using LinkedIn and Google to collect information about your people and launch a campaign against your organization, starting from your people. And attackers do not view the words in terms of a network diagram like we do. And if you look at the new trends or what has changed in 2020, attackers' tool sets have changed. So attackers would today try to pretend to be you through multiple techniques, whether through using domain spoofing or display name spoofing or using lookalike domains. Or they can actually become you through multiple techniques such as a password spray attack, through starting a phishing email to one of your employees, or trying to inject malware or remote access Trojan at one of your corporate devices. And once they succeed, they can try to move laterally. And this is what they usually do. They start sending phishing or business email compromise to your internal users from an internal email address. They can start deceiving your own identity by sending business email compromise to your supply chain or your partners. And they will try also to exfiltrate your sensitive information to outside of the organization.
So looking at this slide, you can see obviously that the reality or that today that people are the center of the threats, whether through the external email, through the identity deception, through networking, or other like sector like cloud. Obviously, with the organization moving more and adapting more the cloud, and even with the browsing, with the involvement of URL, especially when it comes to email, and we see the advanced attacks today, what's happening with embedded URL, and of course the internal like a challenge that today you are facing with the organization about lacking the visibility. So Proofpoint people-centric approach address all these challenges and provide organization a platform that can provide them more visibility about the user activities so they can be more protected. So let's go more and talk about the number one vector, which is the external email address. So Proofpoint secure organization against email threats by helping the organization to apply control for inbound and outbound email using an ease of use platform, and it can be deployed as on-prem or even on the cloud. So Proofpoint email protection also can protect your people your data, and brand from today's threats and common attacks like imposter email, like phishing, like malware, spam, and even bulk email. So Proofpoint Next Generation Email Security provide the tools you need to keep your people safe from advanced threats. We enhance the organization ability to protect against fast emerging threats such as imposter, such as phishing. Also, we provide and we help to block better understood of the threats such as spam and bulk email and definitely viruses. So email protection meets the need of even the most complex enterprise environment and deployment based on the customer need and the requirement that they have. So as a summary, what Proofpoint advantage will provide to the organization? They will provide dynamic classification and control of email across spam, phishing, imposter, adult, and malware. Proofpoint provide multi-layered threat protection. We provide flexible policy creation, detailed reporting and visibility, and definitely we provide scalable to support even a complex and very largest organization environment. Also, a Proofpoint will provide to the organization protection against attacks that don't evolve malware, such as imposter email. We provide accurate, granular spam and unwanted mail prevention. We provide business continuity in case of any downtime for your email. And we reduce administration work and overhead with personalized user control. And definitely we provide an easy and quick of generating reports and search from the solution. Yeah, next slide.
Yeah, so Proofpoint core protection solutions provide multi-layered protection through the use of several techniques to protect against both known and emerging threats. So first of all, the signature-based detection will prevent known threats while dynamic reputation analysis continually assess the local and global IP addresses to determine whether to accept, reject, or throttle email connections, allowing us to get rid of the nuisance or the known spammer score blacked IP addresses, the known threats to leave more processing power for the rest of the engines to perform a deep analysis of the email. So together, these features help protect you at the first signs of a malicious activity. And on top of that, Proofpoint protection detects the threats that, as we said earlier, don't involve malware through advanced machine learning capabilities. And by analyzing hundreds of thousands of attributes, of email attributes within the header, including the sender, the recipient, the relationship between the sender and the recipient, the content, and this is how we're able to dynamically block imposter or impersonation email without the need of a complex manual configuration. And another layer that helps protect and mitigate against advanced threats that target people through email is Proofpoint targeted attack protection. So this does not only include attacks that use sophisticated attachments and URLs through email, but also detects threats that and risks that are targeting users through cloud applications, and connects the email attack visibility to credential theft or cloud account attacks. And when looking at everything TAP can offer to customers, so we start with URL and attachment defense. So with URL defense, Proofpoint targeted attack protection can provide protection against any click on a rewritten URL, even after the threat or the email is delivered. And with attachment defense, customers can benefit from our advanced threat intelligence. They can run the attachments through multiple sandboxes, various sandboxes, but in addition to that, we can run the malware on bare metal machine, and we can have threat analysts, actual human threat analysts, running the malware in real time to see exactly what it does upon execution. And this is not only what TAP can provide. On top of this, we provide a visibility and a matched visibility into your very attacked people. This can actually provide our customers the ability to quantify the risk coming from the #1 threat attack vector, which is email, by focusing resources and adapting security on their most attacked people, by identifying and highlighting those users who receive the most sophisticated threats from the most sophisticated attackers, and what type of threats exactly they are receiving. And we'll see the level of visibility that Proofpoint can provide in a live demo later on this presentation.
So Proofpoint Set Response Autopool. In many organizations, security incidents response is a slow, labor-intensive process. So addressing email security incident can take hours, days, as manual email cleanup can be core. So dealing with delivered email with malware, bad URL, or even credential phish email involve many steps, like including connecting an email address to an internal identity, like searching and finding selected malicious message on the server, removing a malicious message out of a user's inbox, and even identifying which malicious message were forwarded and moving those to current time. So repeating these tasks for every email incident can take hours per day and can overwhelm already stretched security and messaging team. So here comes the value of Proofpoint Threats Autopool. What benefit will bring to the organization? First, it will reduce the time to current time and contain email threats. It will reduce exposure time to malicious email. It will current time messages forwarded to distribution list or individuals. It will receive an auditable history or of response action to boost the ROI of your existing infrastructure. It also will help you to automatically monitor and check abuse mailboxes, messages, or threats. Definitely, it will help you to restore current time messages via undo, clean up groups of messages using CSV files or smart shares result. And definitely, you can view the current time results in a central dashboard. And as you can see, in terms of responses, we can take multiple responses based on the threats detected in the solution. So Proofpoint Set Response is the first threat management platform to extend the orchestration and automation to include the capability that we already spoke about it, to react to malicious email that were delivered to your users' mailboxes. Thank you.
Thank you, Elias. So we'll be looking in the next part of our presentation, we'll be looking at a live demo. So we'll show you the level of insight and the level of visibility that Proofpoint can provide, including the very attacked people reporting visibility through a live demo of our Threat Insight dashboard. So this is how the Proofpoint Threat Insight dashboard looks like. It provides visibility into very attacked people based on an attack index ranking, the business intelligence tool that runs in the background and calculates the attack index based on multiple factors. So one of the factors that plays in the picture here is the sophistication of the threat actors. So whether they are a nation state crime group of actors or a group of actors that is usually sending spam campaigns, etc. Also, we look at the threat sophistication itself. So from an APT to credential phishing threat to a keylogger to remote access Trojan. So each type of threat has a risk score that gets calculated to identify the attack index. And also we look at the volume of these threats. So our attack index ranking is not solely based on volume. However, volume plays plays one of the factors in identifying the VAPs. So, as you can see here, so most people would think that executives or very important people are the most attacked people in the organization. But you might be surprised to know that the recruiting coordinator is receiving a large amount of sophisticated threats. So 99% of the threats that he's receiving or she's receiving is banking threats. And she's or he's one of the top very attacked people in an organization. So additional people-centric information customers will receive is a central view of BIP activities. So yes, BIPs are not always part of the VAP list. However, it's very important to also identify whether they're being targeted by attackers and what's happening with their emails. So whether emails are being blocked for them or being delivered, and if the email includes a URL, whether clicks are being blocked for them or being permitted.
Also, part of the visibility that we provide, which is also unique in Proofpoint tab, target attack protection. As you can see from here, we give you visibility about the top recipient, who are the top recipient receiving advanced threats and messages over their email channel. So you can know who are the top one. Also, again, we provide you, as we spoke at the beginning, that people are the centering of the threats. So with the top 10 clickers, we'll let you know that who are your users that are trying to activate threats inside your organization by clicking on a URL, and most of this URL will be bad URL, redirect them to a malicious websites and trying to compromise them. So with this visibility, you will get a more control about who are your weakness point, who are the most vulnerable like people inside the organization, so you can take more action, more measurement against them, if maybe by giving more awareness training and more like training about how to deal with this kind of email when they receive it in the future, instead of just going and by default clicking on this URL. Once you give them more awareness, more training, they will know where to look into the email to see now if this is a clean email or it is suspicious, so then they can report it. So as long as you have this visibility, you can put the right measurement by awareness and training, and definitely like that you will be minimizing the risk inside your organization, because now your user will not like blindly go and click on any URL inside and emails and put your organization more and more under risk.
Yeah. So on top of the people-centric visibility that you will get also a benchmarking of your own organization threat attack index compared to other organizations within your same industry, or simply any other industry that Proofpoint protects today. So whether your numbers or how attackers are attacking you is consistent with what we see in the industry in general. And you can also get attack index trending chart showing you by month where your attack index is peaking. So for instance, here in March 2020, we've seen a peak in attack index. That means this organization has been targeted more than other organizations within the same industry with advanced threats and sophisticated attacks. So on top of that, we get the landscape report.
So as you can see from the landscape report, will give you more visibility about the threats type that's been target your organization. So we break down for you by like percentage here, so you can know what type of threats email you are receiving, how much of them were part of attachment threats, how much of them are URL threats, and even if they are hybrid or like a message text threat. Also, you can see if this type of threats are part of a campaign, or they are just individual threats that target your organization. So even if you scroll down, you will see that a lot of good visibility and ready reporting you will get by knowing what threat categories are these threats that you are receiving. Like here you see 39% of, as per this example, are phishing threats, 56 of them are a malware threats, and even you see how much these threats are spread and if they are targeting a specific geolocation or not, just like limited to a specific like customers or geolocation. Also, we'll give you the visibility what are like the top 10 campaign threats that target your organization, and even we'll let you know who are the top like actors that are targeting your organization over the email. What are your top malware? Like here you see like there are Emotet, the trick, and definitely you can go and do more in deep investigations. When you click on like on the malware and you click on that, you will see what all the threats involved in this malware and who are the users that receive these attacks, and if they are protected by our solution or no, they already received, and you will see exactly what is the protection level that you will get. So as you can see, our solution is very rich in terms of visibility, so you can understand better where are you in terms of landscape, how much you are protected, and what need to be done to be more protected. And this is very important. And this is what makes us unique comparing to the other solution available in the market.
Yeah. So on top of this information about the top 10 actors, you will get also a description of each attacker that we are following. So for instance, TA4542 is the group of attackers that is responsible for the spread of the Emotet malware. So you'll get details about their objectives in general based on how we follow them, based on their delivery and installation method, based on TTPs, etc. And you also get all the campaigns that they've been involved in. So including all the Emotet campaign that we were able to observe during the last specific span of time. And if you click on any of these campaigns, you'll even get more information about the campaigns, including a description of the attack. So for instance, for the Emotet campaign here, it consists of email containing either a Word attachment or a password protected zip or a URL linking to a download of Word attachment. You'll see metrics, so how spread this campaign is, and you'll get information about the number of messages that we have observed for your own organization compared to the number of total Proofpoint customers that have received this specific attack. And if you look, if you scroll down a little bit down, you'll see even a screenshot of the email and the web template involved in this attack. And you'll see in general how this attack has been progressing within your organization. So we've seen 93 emails and we've blocked them all. And in case we were not able to block them at the time of the filtering, we'll be also showing transparently how many messages were delivered and whether these include URLs that got rewritten or no. And you can also see what happened with the clicks, where they blocked, where they permitted, etc.
So yeah, and here to the same point that Haifa spoke about it, about if we missed any messages. And as you remember, we covered about the trap, the threat response auto pull. So here comes the value of threats auto pull, where after we detect that this mail, it might be containing a threat, we can report it to the trap, where the trap will do more enrichment, and then if he detected that is a real threat and know what exactly the intent of it, he can go to the user mailbox automatically and auto pull it and provide better protection for the organization.
Yeah. So on top of that, with Proofpoint, you'll get full forensic evidence of what happened when we run the attachment or the URL through Sandbox. And because our sandboxing technology is our proprietary technology, there is no limitation in the amount of data of malicious evidence that you will get. So for instance, this is an example of a forensic report where we run this URL through a sandboxing. So you'll see that we run it on a Windows 10 environment, and you can also see the scan time. And you'll get a summary of the findings after running this through the sandbox. So here, for instance, we've seen or we've observed a malicious URL that was visited. So there's a malicious behavior that was observed when visiting this URL. We've also observed the network activity and DNS queries were made. And if you look at more details about these observations, you see, for instance, that we have observed some file system modification. We have also observed some network activity to malicious IP addresses, and you get all the details of whether this redirects you to another bad URL. And this can be downloaded, this forensic report can be downloaded, and you can also integrate through API with our Proofpoint targeted attack protection and benefit from all this intelligence that we can provide you today to protect you against email-based advanced threats. So,
another useful also tab we provide you in terms of visibility, and you can see here is the effectiveness report. So here you will get an overview how much you are protected from malicious messages, from advanced threats over the email. And as you can see, we give you an overview like how much you are protected. Then on the right side, we break down these protection by threats type. Like the first one will highlight for you how much you are protected from URL threats, how much of email with embedded URL you received, how much the solution was able to protect it as pre-delivery, prior, or even with using the rewritten. So you will get the full visibility. Also for the messages with an attachment, it will also tell you the total email with messages and how much the solution was able to detect and it was able to protect using the reputation, and how much is being was able to protect using the behavior sandboxing when we send the full attachment to the sandboxing to check the behavior of that and detect any zero-day attacks inside it. And definitely with the imposter threats and technique that we use, which we also give you the visibility if you are receiving imposter threats and how much we are able to protect you against this type of attacks also through the email channel. So yeah,
as
you
we
can
mentioned,
yeah.
So as you mentioned earlier, with Proofpoint Threat Response Autopol, you can also action these potentially exposed threats that were delivered based on alerts that are received by the Proofpoint gateway and by other threat intel sources to automatically retrieve those emails from end-user mailboxes, including forwarded emails and emails received by distribution lists. And this provides the best approach into reducing the attack surface and understanding the threat landscape for your organization based on what you see in the wild from advanced attackers and unmatched visibility into the very attacked people that you need to focus your security controls on.
Yeah, and also we know that each organization, they've already done a lot of investment, especially when it comes to security. That's why our platform has a multiple type of integration that can be integrated with leaders in terms of security. And as you can see here, we have an integration with CrowdStrike Intelligence, with Okta as identity provider, and even with Palo Alto Network Wildfire. So even with customer already did investment, this will give them the advantage to do this integration and to share the intelligence between multiple security platforms that they are using to get better effectiveness and better protection for their environment when it comes to advanced threats. Either it's targeting them through the email or even with other channel targeting their organization.
So we spoke about threats targeting people from external email and identity deception, but another aspect of threats targeting people is also the internal channel. And then, as we spoke at the beginning of this presentation, attackers will try to pretend to be you or actually become you. And we've seen a successful breach or out of 100 organizations, we've seen at least 40 organizations who had a successful account compromise recently. So it's become necessary today that organizations have the tools and technologies to manage threats coming from the insiders. And this is what Proofpoint Inside Threat Management can provide customers with today. So in today's world, the notion of working within the perimeter of a company has completely dissolved, especially now after the big change that happened during the pandemic. Everyone has access to multiple assets, multiple applications and services from within their home. So the workforce has become global, and the necessity of it becoming connected is more and more widespread. So access to data has become easier today, but making the risk of an insider threat data breach even more higher. And if we look at the recent insider breach attacks that happened, one of the most notable breaches was when the ex-Google engineer who stole trade secrets on self-driving car technology and brought them to Uber. Another very famous one is the recent Twitter breach that happened because of an insider exfiltration sensitive and very important social media account information to attackers. So it's become evident that your people are your security perimeter today, and from many security aspects, including the insider channel.
So what is really an insider threat, and how we define an insider, how we define it as an insider threat? So as you can see, well, it can be a negligent or like a behavior of an employee, like by accidentally or for lack of knowledge or a policy in your organization, can cause a data exfiltration to happen. Another type of insiders can be a malicious insider of an employee who is leaving the organization in like a time period, a small time period, can be in weeks, 2-3 weeks, and planning to take advantage of the data that he currently has access to, and he knows that it is valuable to the organization. Or a successful compromised account, like as we said from the email, or where he already under attack, he's already like compromised. And we think that we spoke about this at the beginning of the presentation. We covered how a user can be compromised. So, and when it comes to understanding the user behavior and the intent, what is the intent of the behavior? The traditional method involves trying to piece together logs of multiple systems in order to defer and know what exactly is going on. But this takes a lack of time and a lot of resources, and without turn lead and without a real detection of a real like insiders can be detected and know exactly the intent of the real behavior of the user inside the organization. So what is the value of Proofpoint ITM or Insider Threat Management? It's considered the leader in that space because we take a different approach to the problem. Everything we do is slowly focused on understanding the user behavior in relation to the data they have access to. So our core value is that we help our customer to identify the user risk, protect them from data to be lost, and definitely accelerate incident response. So our technology is an endpoint-based solution. So it is installed in a lightweight that sits on the end of the user machine, not on the kernel. So that's why the impact is not that much, and it requires a little of performance of the machine. And whatever that's a server or a desktop, and that we support a wide variety of operating system. Our endpoint support such definitely as Windows, at Macs, or even Unix. So also we support Citrix, we support VDI, jump servers, terminal servers, and even we can pretty much support anything that the end users connect to and consume the data and application on it. So that agent sit in the user space in comparison to the kernel space. So we see a lot of lighter use of approximately 1 to 2% of CPU use, because we don't sit on the kernel space and we don't conflict with any other application already running on the endpoint itself, like traditional DLP, like challenge they have the customer where they get like a lot of conflict. They have like a blue screen they will get from time to time, which result at the end in a bad performance, and then sometimes to stop the solution because of this conflict. So the agent is basically does two things. It collects metadata on the user activities and also can enforce screen recording based on a variety of route and alert that we configure. So we provide, that's our main value in terms of an endpoint, in terms of real alerts that we provide, and definitely with the response and the reporting that we provide to the customers. Yeah, next slide. So what does it mean, visibility everywhere? That means you can get visibility on everywhere. As the name say, it's everywhere. So, but let's talk in reality about a real and popular use case that you face usually in day by day, like challenge in your organization, which is data exfiltration. To see what a complication and visibility everywhere mean. So now you know that, or before that, let's take a look on how contextual intelligence will help you to provide and to get in terms of understanding the user activity, in terms of data movement, and in data exfiltration. This concept of contextual intelligence, this is the core technology differentiator in Proofpoint insider threat management, because IT combines data, analytics, and virtualization to show the context around the people basis. So make it easy for you to understand, to get this visibility, and even to have the evidence that makes your capabilities unique in terms of or comparing to others DLP solution and analytics that are available today in the market. So we can have all your users' activity, monitor their data in movement, and we can see if there is any data exfiltration that happens from that user machine.
So basically, the insider threat management solution from Proofpoint correlates user and file activity across cloud and on-premise application, across desktop, across servers, server environments, etc. So for example, if a user who are working on a collaborative platform like SharePoint, for instance, if he starts copying and renaming large files onto their desktop, will alert you. And this alert can be created based on a library of more than 350 pre-configured insider threat use cases. So we'll alert you, and will alert you again when that potential insider threat or malicious or whether malicious or accidental is potentially leaking the data by pasting those files onto personal Google Drive. So we'll create an alert for each use case that can trigger once the insider or the employee starts copying or pasting based on the action that you set the alert on. And as you can see, we have more than 350 pre-built insider threats use cases that you can choose from data exfiltration to risky user monitoring, such as, for example, running unauthorized software, on a machine or a server, or searching for specific things on web, or even accidentally misconfiguring a cloud application, or even installing hacking tools on a machines or servers. So there are a bunch of use cases that are already ready for you to create alerts based on, and we can add even more alerts based on any specific use case that you want to achieve. So in terms of success stories, so when it comes to insider threat management, and basically before we show you a real life use case of an insider threat detected by our platform, let's have a look at some of these customer testimonials and experiences with the ITM platform. So Starbucks, for instance, everyone knows Starbucks. They're one of our happy customers. And the reason why they're happy, and if you look at the size of the company and the nature of their work, it makes investigation almost impossible. If in case of an insider breach, for instance, and going back to all the logs and correlating those logs and identifying what caused the breach specifically. So Starbucks have chosen Proofpoint, especially when it comes to collecting evidence of malicious behavior done by insiders. So we'll be looking at a live demo right now. So let's jump to the insider threat management platform.
So what we are seeing now is the insider threat intelligence platform from Proofpoint, the dashboard. So here in the dashboard, we'll give you the summary about the risk users. And as you can see, you will see how many risk users you have based on their activities. Even you will be able to get visibility about what are the top risk applications and what are the related or correlated risk alerts related to these risk users. So as you can also, as you can see, we'll let you see the behavior change of the users from the graph that you see it on the left. And as you can see, each user will have a score over 100. Definitely, as long as the score has a high score over 100, that means this is a risk users. You will see here the user's risk, and base the score details, how much he scored. You can see from here, 94% of high risk contribution this user was showing. You will get definitely integrated with Active Directory. You will get all the user's profile. Then you will see what are the related risky application related to this user, and definitely the alerts related to these activities of the users. So here, as a summary, you'll be able to see who are your critical risk users, high, medium, and definitely after that, you need to go and look more into their activities based on what this user is being defined as a risk user, what are the activities that he has done, what he is violating, or what are the abnormal behavior that he conducted inside your environment, so the system were able to trigger him as a risk user. So once you go and click on investigate that specific users, then it will take you to a very detailed page where from there you will see in details the activities related to that users.
Yeah, so you will see all the alerts in detail. So all the activity that triggered those alerts, including, for instance, in that case for Felix, logging in remotely through RDP to a sensitive workstation during irregular working hours. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see who did what, on which computer, and from which client, and at what time exactly. So you'll get all the details of the alert in an easy consequence where you can understand quickly what happened while this user has triggered this alert based on the action that happened on the remote desktop. So in addition to that, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see all the details, including whether they have navigated to a specific application, what time they logged out of the RDP session, what kind of applications did they try to start. So for instance, here he tried to open a cloud storage sync folder, including all the details. So Felix again tried to have access to a shared folder, this happened from his computer on that client machine at this specific time. And moreover, if we want to look at evidence through a video recording, so we can, for instance, click on the play button here, and then again, access to those video recording will be only provided based on it will be protected by a password. So not everyone can have access to recorded videos on end user machines. So this enforces the privacy on who has access to these sessions. So for instance, here, if we logged in, so you can see the video, recording. So you can see what triggered this specific alert, and you can start looking at the video there. You'll get also information about the alert, about who did what on which computer and when exactly. And also you'll see a timeline of all the activities that triggered these alerts. So you can jump directly to the risky activity that triggered this alert, or the activity that violates the policy of the organization, making it easier to investigate.
As a summary, as of today, you saw that we spoke mainly on the number one vector of threats, which is the email solution, and also we talk about the internal threats. However, Proofpoint has a full portfolio that focuses more on the people-centric to protect better and provide better protection for the organization people. As you see from it, first we protect the number one threat vector, which is the email, by providing information protection, the advanced defense protection, fraud defense also over the email. Plus, we protect the people by giving them awareness training, giving them threat simulation, to do some training for them using our security platform. And at the end, also we protect what people they access, their sensitive data, their enterprise data, wherever they are accessing the data, with distributed environment, if they are on-prem, they are on the cloud, and definitely if there are also insiders inside the organization with our insider threats. So also we protect the people access to their resources inside the organization. So as you can see, that's our approach to cybersecurity, which make us ahead and make us unique, because we are one of the unique providers in cybersecurity as a vendor to provide a unique and workable approach to cybersecurity, which is people-centric, by having solutions and product and a strategy that focus on the people, that to provide you protection, visibility, and your data and protection for your sensitive assets inside your organization.
So thanks for watching us today, you'll get more information if you visit proofpoint.com/UK, or if you can visit our virtual booth. So you can get more information about how Proofpoint can help customers today reduce risk by its people-centric approach. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.